Good morning. Our hand today is Ace King in the small blind. So we're looking at this because this is a situation that I've been finding myself in as of late, where I raise and then I'm going to be out of position with premium type hands, unpremium unpaired hands, and the flop just doesn't really hit me at all. So how do we handle it? How do we maneuver it? And in this one, we only have one middle card on the flop. So how does this play out? Button raises. He makes a small raise, only two big blinds, and I don't know what to really make out of it. This could be an attempt at a steal. Um, this could be, just strictly for value. I just kind of started with this kind of range. This is 33%. It's probably wider. It's just I don't know, and here's the issue. I don't know if this player sizes his bets based on the strength of his hands. So is this a case where if he had premium hands, if he had jacks plus, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, king queen, that sort of thing, he would have raised three big blinds. But since he doesn't, he has something more speculative, so he's only going to raise two big blinds. That's a possibility. Is this guy tricky? Is he going to try trap you? So would have raised larger with the weak hands to try to get me to fold, but with the premium, he's going to be checking here, betting small to try to suck me in. I don't know. I only have 61 hands with this player, so we're going to start with this range. I think that's an okay range for most people. I don't think people try to steal enough. Some players do, but like this player attempt to steals 1 out of 4. I kind of would have expected him to do a little bit better. I'm not much better. My attempt to steal 0 out of 2. So yeah, fairly tight. I raised. This is my versus steal range. I think this is okay. This is probably a little too tight. A little too tight. This is probably way too tight, but I am in the small blind. Uh, so, actually, I think this might be a little. No, this is correct. This is correct. Big blind's gonna might be a little bit wider, but I think this is probably a too tight a range. I'm gonna have to really investigate the range and look at possibly increasing it, becoming a little bit more aggressive pre-flop with three bets. Try to pick up more of these pre-flop pots. But this is going to be my raising range, and then he calls. So with the call, I'm going to say he tightens up. I think he drops the ace little. I do have some information. He has called 2-bet from the blinds with queen 10 off, 10-9 suited. He's called 3 bets out of position with king 10 suited. So I think he's got at least those. Maybe all Broadway. I think that's probably in his attempted steal range. Is it in his calling range? Maybe, maybe not. I would, if they're not, I'd probably go with that. Maybe even drop the king jack. But we're gonna keep it in. So we're gonna work with that range. He calls. So then we see a flop of 9-5-2, and the question is, what do we do? Now, before I look at the GTO solution, my thought was that my initial thought was that I should be betting this hand. I should be betting it because the 9 hit, but it's less likely to hit him. He could have 4-bet with aces, kings, queens. He could have raised. He could have raised a little bit larger. I felt like at the time I really should go for a c-bet, but I kind of chickened out here a little bit. Because I thought, well, the 9 does hit caller ranges a little bit, 5s and 2s. I think I'm gonna need 2 bets to try to pick up this pot, and of the turn cards, I'm really looking for Broadway. Not even a 10. I'm looking for jacks. Jacks is probably the worst of the Broadways. Queens, kings, aces. I'm looking for. I'm looking for hearts. Possibly even like a 2. 2, 3, or 4 could work as well. That was my initial thought, but then, and so my initial thought was to bet, but then I said, if I bet, I'm gonna need 2 barrels, and the pot's already big as it is. I checked, and I think this is a mistake. I think this is a mistake with my hand. He bets quarter pot. And now I think this is the second mistake. I think once I checked, I probably should have just gone ahead and folded this hand. Yeah, I'm giving up on bluff. I'm allowing my opponent to bluff a lot. But I have overcards. I have a king of hearts. I did call, and then the jack. So let's go ahead and take a look at what GTO. So what I did is I plugged in the actual bet sizes that was made, and sure enough, it looks like the GTO solution does say that I'm going to be betting most of the time, 82% of the time. I'm betting, the bluffs. These are, gut shots. I'm bluffing tens, or I'm betting tens, jacks, queens, kings, aces. I'm betting, the suited, all of the suited aces, even, the ones that don't have backdoor flush draw. The kings, the ace king hands, I'm somewhat checking, and I think this is kind of why I thought, man, maybe I should be betting this, because I have the king of hearts, and sure enough, yeah, I should be betting. If I have the ace of hearts, if I have the king of hearts, I should be leading this this pot. If I have the ace or the queen of hearts, I should be leading it. So I think this is definitely a mistake here. So let's say I bet. What is Villain going to? How is Villain going to be playing with this range? He's going to be folding 51% of the time, or GTO suggests he folds 51% of the time. So I think that's why we're betting so many hands, is that he's overfolding. I feel like he should be overfolding versus our range. Do we lose some values? I mean, yeah, king 10, queen 10. I mean, they're kind of dead in the water, but I think it's probably best for us to get them to fold and take the pot now, because the pot was 21 blinds. So let's say he does call. Let's say we lead and he calls, because I find that's a pretty common situation. And his calls are going to be some of these pairs, gut shots, these ace littles. Let's say he calls, and we actually get the seven of spades. Jack of spades. Let's say we get the jack of spades, because that's what came out. What should we do? Now we're going to be betting only 41% of the time. All of those ace king, ace queen hands now become checks. Yeah, most of our suited ace king and ace queens are checks. We can bet, with flush draws. I think that's kind of 50-50. Maybe pick one. Maybe pick the hearts or the spades and bet those, but not both. It's hard to kind of figure out what your 50% is. Looks like we're still betting aces, especially with the heart and the spades. Looks like we're checking when we don't have the heart or the spade. It's interesting. Kings. Looks like we're betting mostly. If we have the king of hearts, it's good. We're mostly betting these over pairs. We're betting tens. So even though jack comes, we're still going to be firing tens. We're still going to be firing our gut shots for the most part. Definitely hearts and flush draw, then mix it up. So we should be doing that. So let's say I did check, and then what's Villain going to be doing? If he's GTO, then he should be checking here. He should be betting 41.6% of the time. And checking the rest. So if he bets, then what do I do? Now you can kind of see, yeah, we're calling with king queen. That's surprising if you ask me, but we're calling with two overs and a gut shot. We're raising, calling ace queen, ace king. Those are raising our flush draws, just calling with the overs. We're raising our pairs, trips, ace 4, ace 3. We have to have combos on that, combo draws. So, all right, so let's see. That's if I played it. Now, I checked, and now he bets. So if we played it correctly and we check, so we do have some of these ace kings that we check. Let's say we check, and he bets his 5.25, which is what he did. And we'll assume that he does it with, GTO ranges. Now what do we do? It looks like we are supposed to call. Even with like the King of Hearts, which is what I have. You can see. It looks like we are now calling. And then we're supposed to be checking 100%. He bets. And now it kind of comes down to us. What do we do? And now that looks like we fold. So I guess this is good in the sense that this is one way that GTO suggests we play it. But I think exploitatively, it was probably a mistake. Yes, we have sometimes we are going to check. So sometimes, with that ace king of spades, we're going to be betting 75%. We're going to be checking 25% of the time. That's a mixed strategy to really mix up the game, make it hard to play against. But in this play, I don't think we need to mix it up. I don't think we ever need to have that many checks. So I think our mistake here is we should have fired out a c-bet. We should have led this for half pot and see what develops. If we bet here, and he raises us, we can easily just fold. We can easily fold. We took a stab, he raised, we fold. Yeah, we can call some part of the time just to keep honest with King of Hearts, but it says we're folding more than 50% of the time. I think at this low stakes game, until I know otherwise, it's probably best to just go ahead and fold. Make the fold, because I don't think players are going to be bluffing enough, and even if they are, they're going to have pretty decent equity against me, because I think they're going to be raising with like overpairs, so tens and jacks. They could be raising with, let's say, ace nine. They could be raising with heart draw. They could be raising maybe even with like a heart and a gut shot draw, and with two cards to come, we might possibly be an underdog. So hopefully you enjoyed this. This was a hand that I was thinking about. And yeah, it does look like I should have been the aggressor. And should have played this. Now, what happens if we changed it? So let's change the board. Instead of 9-5-2, let's say this is 9-8-2. And let's run our solver. Yeah, we're going to build our tree. Then we're going to run our solver. And let's see on this board. So now we've made that second card connected with the top, much more connected with the top. I feel this could be a situation where now we check most of the time instead of bet, and yeah, we definitely check more than we should be betting. We still bet our over pairs. Aces is kind of mixed. Bet. What about ace king? So yeah, with the King of Hearts, it looks like we are still betting most of the time. And ace queen, as long as we have the hearts, as long as we have the ace of heart or King of Hearts or the Queen of Hearts, depending on what our offsuit was. So I'm going to say that, yeah, this was a mistake. I'm going to say that this was a mistake on the board. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed this hand. If you did, look tomorrow for another.